basic learning skills. Today in this video I am going to tell you about the character data type, the C++ string class and the bool data type. So let's start with the first topic, the character data type. The character data type is used to store the individual characters. A variable of character data type can hold only one character at a time. Here is an example of how you might declare a character variable. Character is equal to letter. This statement declares a character variable named letter, which can store one character. In C++, character literals are enclosed in a single quotation marks. Here is an example showing how we would assign a character to the letter variable. This statement assigns the character G to the letter variable because character variable can hold only one character. They are not compatible with strings. For example, you cannot assign a string to a character variable even if the string contains only one character. So, it's important that you do not confuse character literals which are enclosed in a single quotation marks with the string literals which are enclosed in a double quotation marks. Although the character data type is used for storing the characters, it is actually an integer data type that typically uses 1 byte of memory. The size is actually a system dependent. On some systems, the character data type is larger than 1 byte of the memory. The reason an integer data type is used to store the character is because the characters are internally represented by numbers. Each printable character as well as many non-printable characters is assigned a unique number. The most commonly used method for encoding the character is ASCII2, which stands for the American Standard Code for Information Interchange. When a character is stored in the memory, it is actually the numeric code that is stored. When the computer is instructed to print the value on the screen, it displays the character that corresponds with the numeric code. The number 65 is the code for A, 66 is the code for B, and so on. So, when you are working with the characters, you are actually working with the numbers. The following figure shows that when the characters such as A, B, and C are stored in the memory, it is really the numbers 65, 66 and 67 that are stored at the back end. So our next topic is character and string literals. Character literals and character variable hold only single character. The string literals and variables hold series of characters. It is important that you do not confuse the character literal with the string literals. Strings, which are series of characters stored in the consecutive memory locations, can be virtually any length. This means that there must be some way for the program to know how long a string is. In C++, an extra byte is appended to the end of the string literal when they are stored in the memory. In this last byte, the number 0 is stored and it is called as the null terminator or the null character, and it marks the end of the string. In the following example, Cout H shows that it displays a character literal and Cout hello shows that it displays a string literal. Do not confuse the null terminator with the character 0. If you look, you will see that the ASCII code 48 corresponds to the character 0, whereas the null terminator is same as the ASCII code 0. If you want to print the character 0 on the screen, you use the ASCII code 48. Look at the example that how a string literal is stored in the memory. The following picture shows that the string literal Sebastian would be stored. First notice the quotation marks are not stored in the string. They are simply a way of marking the beginning and the end of the string in your source code. Second, notice that very last byte of the string, it contains a null terminator, which is represented by \0 character. The addition of this last byte means that although the string Sebastian is 9 characters long, it occupies 10 bytes of memory. The null terminator is another example of something that sits quietly in the background. It does not print on the screen when you will display a string. It is there silently doing its job. So, it is important to note that C++ automatically places the null terminator at the end of the string literals. Now, let's compare the way a string and the character are stored. Suppose that you have the character literal A and the string literal A in a program. The following figure shows their internal storage. As you see that the character literal A is a 1-byte element and the string literal A is a 2-byte element. Since characters are really stored as ASCII 2, so following figure shows what is actually stored inside the memory. Because character variables are only large enough to hold one character, you cannot assign the string literals to them. For example, the following code defines a character variable named letter1 and letter2. The character literal A can be assigned to the letter 1, but the string literal A cannot be assigned to the letter 2. This will not work. You have learned that some strings look like a single character, but really they are not. It is also possible to have a character that looks like a string. A good example is a new line character \n. Although it is represented by two characters, a slash and the n, but it is internally represented as one character. In fact, all escape sequences internally are just the 1 byte. So our next topic is C++ string class. The basic concept is that standard C++ provide a special data type for storing and working with strings. Because a character variable can store only one character in its memory location, another data type is needed for a variable to hold an entire string. Although C++ does not have a built-in data type to do this, standard C++ provides something called the string class that allows the programmer to create a string type variable. So how to use the string class? The first step in using the string class is to hash include the string header file. This is accomplished with the following preprocessor directive. The next step is to define a string type variable named string object. Defining a string object is similar to defining a variable of primitive type. For example, the following statement defines a string object named movie title. You can also assign a string literal to the movie title with the assignment operator just like this. You can also use the cout to display the value of movie title object. So our last topic is the Bool data type. Boolean variables are set to either true or false. Expressions that have a true or false values are called as a Boolean expression, named in the honor of English mathematician George Bool. The Bool data type allows you to create a small integer variable that are suitable for holding true or false values. The following example demonstrates the definition and assignment of the Bool variable. The value true is represented in the memory by the number 1 and the false is represented by the number 0. You will be using this data type to evaluate the conditions that are either true or false. So this is the end of the lecture. If you have any confusion, you can email me or comment me in the chat box. And do not forget to subscribe this channel.